Malaysian Timber Council 17 defines unlawful logging as in Peninsular Malaysia, forest offences are classified into 3 categories. Offences in Category 1 include logging without license, logging outside of a licensed area, and illegal infrastructure and forest road building. Encroachment on forest reserves for agricultural use and habitation is under Category 2. Other forest offences include falling unmarked trees, cutting trees below the cutting limit, unlicensed personnel, contractors with no valid sub-license, unregistered machinery, and other rule and regulation violation perpetrated both within and outside the forest reserve. Illegal logging occurs when timber is cut, transported, processed, purchased, or sold in violation of national or subnational legislation. Criminal logging thus encompasses a wide range of illegal acts, from the theft of standing wood and logs to corrupt corporate operations, such as under-declaring amounts, process, or tax evasion. Illegal logging is projected to damage the world economy by $10 to $15 billion per year and undercuts legitimate companies. Illegal logging is a huge problem in many nations, posing substantial damage to forests, communities, and wildlife. Illegal logging occurs because huge profit can be generated. These gains are easiest to realize in nations with widespread corruption, inadequate law enforcement, and poor socio-economic conditions where there is a little motivation to reform forestry practices. Here are some examples of illegal logging in Malaysia. According to Berita Harian, the Pahang State Forestry Department prevented 2 incidents of illegal logging of diverse species valued at more than 404,000 ringgit Malaysia in Temerloh and Bentong within a week in February 2021. The Department Chief Assistant Director Enforcement Nur Azrin Ahmad was quoted in the report as saying that the department rangers and special action team stopped the first case in Kemasol Forest Reserve, Pelagia near Bentong, and discovered 11 lots of various species worth more than 17,000 ringgit Malaysia. The crew also seized a 5-ton vehicle used to transport logs. The gang was also suspected of producing sawn timber from central trees. Meanwhile, in compartment 19 of the Jungle Forest Reserve Temerloh, an effort was made to transfer 48 logs of keratin, meranti, and bala trees valued at more than 387 ringgit Malaysia.
The first detail of the issue is landslide are geohazard that affect sloping appearance of the earth. Cameron Highland in Pahang is the most prominent in landslide affected area. Malaysia prone to landslide because of human activities such as construction errors, indiscriminate land exploitation, and deforestation. For an example, even it was mostly not because of illegal logging but for land development purpose like logging for agriculture, this kind of activity will be causing the changing of land and will affect the balance of land use in that area. Day by day, the number of complaints regarding illegal exploration of forest activity is increasing. The increasing of development in Cameron Highland due to high demand for agriculture and also infrastructure development. So, as the geographical factor of Cameron Highland that have limited availability of flat surface, there are no other ways but just carry out the development on slope lands. That is why the development in Cameron Highland is possible in high-risk location, and more critically, it goes on despite exceeding the highland capacity. Next is the increase of excessive greenhouse gases at the atmosphere. The interaction of sun energy with greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases in the Earth's atmosphere is the primary cause of the greenhouse effect. These gases' ability to absorb heat is what creates the greenhouse effect occurrence. Selective logging in the primary activity that contribute to forest degradation. Besides, on the research finding, there are 3 sources that impact by selective logging technique. First is extracted timber. Second, logging damage, including leftover and damage from other associated timber tree. And lastly, logging infrastructure as a result of the building of speed trails, logging roads, and logging decks. So, as a result from illegal logging, it will reduce the oxygen to atmosphere, meanwhile, increase the greenhouse gases. From the main problem that is illegal logging, it will be interrelated with the other problems such as excessive greenhouse effect. Then, the result of the increase of the greenhouse gas to atmosphere, it will automatically create another measure, that is the increase of temperature. And lastly, the impact of logging issue is increase the frequency of floods. In 2021, there are huge natural disasters in Malaysia. According to the Sun Daily newspaper, there are about 8 states, which is including Pahang, that have been facing the worst flooding. Flood is a type of natural disaster that happen as a result of various weather and geographical conditions. Malaysia is fortunate to have a tropical climate and its frequency vary from several droughts. However, due to high intensity of rainfall during the monsoon season, the state along the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia, including Kelantan, Terengganu, and Pahang, consistently experience several flooding.
Thank you to my friend for the issues. Now let me take you to the problem of illegal logging. The excessive attraction of timber beyond the stipulated limits is equally pronounced as illegal logging, as global demand for commodities such as paper, wood, and palm oil source, companies and people continue to encroach even deeper into forests, aggravating the illegal logging problem. In this presentation, I will focus on the problem of illegal logging. The first problem are about poor living standard for indigenous population. The life of indigenous communities and villages living in proximity to the forest are usually destroyed in countless ways because of illegal logging. Illegal logging takes away their traditional way of life and livelihoods. Particularly, their tribal culture are lost if the forest goes away, and it also makes it difficult for them to forage, which threaten their survival. Some also depend on the forest resources for income, and as such, illegal logging withdraw their only source of income, which make them modern-day slave and shadow of their real culture. Problem is global warming and climate change. Illegal logging destroys trees that act as carbon sink and climate regulator, which play a significant role in global warming and climate change. Aside from increasing the global temperature, the practice also accounts for the reduction of the total forest cover area, exposing most of the land to high temperatures and extreme weather conditions. The third problem arises a loss of biodiversity. Forest loss as a result of illegal logging is a threat to biodiversity in forest habitats. More and more species are unable to survive as the practice denies the habitat the crucial natural interconnectedness. The extensive fragmentation and degradation of the forest have put more animal and plant species on the verge of extinction. Illegal logging is all countries will feel the combined problem in the long term, as much as big business, top government official, and executive in the corporate world may take the matter of illegal logging less seriously for their own selfish gain and wealth accumulation. It is something that will ultimately affect the whole world. While other people and countries may think that it only affects the producing countries, long-term climatic, economic, and environmental problems will affect most of the countries in the world. For instance, the illegal logging in the Amazon forest is projected to lessen rain in northern China and the Midwest US, while increasing rain in northern Europe and eastern Africa.
I will explain more about the suggestion regarding the issue of the illegal logging. The first suggestion regarding the issue of illegal logging is to encourage more in the forest stewardship. So this forest stewardship means to protect the forest by monitoring the forest with the effort of everyone at the same time. It is better to widely promote this stewardship program so it can reach everyone's attention. The more people knows and aware of this program, the more contributions that will be given by those people in order to make this stewardship program successful. As an example, this stewardship program is the best tool because it can track any illegal logging by tracking the suspicious sales that have been made, tracking the harvesting of the timber, and the transportation that transport the illegal logging. Other than that, the stewardship program will be more effective when they cooperate with the timber industry and lumber mills. This is because by this cooperation, they are able to monitor any suspicious illegal logging, selling, and filter black market. So after that, the second suggestion regarding the issue of the illegal logging is to improve more in restricting regulation of the forest management. It is recommended and highly suggested that these forest management authorities to be more strict in enacting the laws and regulation about the illegal logging. By doing this, it can increase the chance to scare and treat those irresponsible parties who do the illegal logging to the vulnerable forest. The authorities can take an action about the illegal logging by arresting those people or parties that caught doing the illegal logging. It is highly recommended to increase the amount of fine and penalty to the person or parties that caught doing the illegal logging to make and illegal loggers out there to be more scared to that such highly fine and penalty that have been enacted and implemented by the authorities. The third suggestion regarding the issue about the illegal logging is to share about the legal purchase practice to the consumers. So this practice is very important because it can make people aware that the consumers also can help to fight the illegal logging activity. So this practice is basically about telling people to purchase only certified timber products. By purchasing the certified timber products in the market, it will slowly decrease the amount of non-certified timber products in the market and will directly decrease the illegal logging activity because the sudden decrease of the illegal timber demands in the market because people are already aware to buy only certified timber that provided in the market. The fourth suggestions that can be highly suggested about the issue of illegal logging is to highly active to spread the words, donation and volunteering. As we know, there's a lot of organizations out there that work hard to stop the illegal logging and protecting our forests from the illegal logging activity and other environmental issues. So as we know, to fight this illegal logging, it needs a lot of contribution by everyone. The more people contribute to this matter, the more successful the initiative that been implemented. Not just that, by widely and actively spreading this word about the initiative to fight this illegal logging, we also can increase the donation from the volunteer and directly can fund the organization to make them able to continue their effort and make their work and effort more easy when they have enough funds.
Illegal logging is a cause for widespread concern. It has negative environmental impacts, results in the loss of forest products used by rural communities, creates conflicts and causes significant losses of tax revenues that could be used for development activities. For non-specialists like us, illegal logging has yet to be seen as a pressing matter. Our daily habits of pulling out an excessive amount of toilet paper to dry our little hands or reprinting documents due to minor error, though we should have double-checked before printing, remain undisrupted. In reality, Malaysians need to stop brushing aside their responsibility as citizens to curb illegal logging. This responsibility is essential and it starts with being aware of the severity of the issue. So, what is the principal motivation behind illegal logging? The answer is simple: the very high profits for the perpetrators and low risk of detection. According to Interpol and the World Bank, timber is a commodity no different from narcotics, weapons, vehicles or other internationally traded goods that can generate profits. The fact that timber is easy to launder and appears as a clean business compared with drug or human trafficking leads to the notion that the activity is not a serious crime. It is often mistakenly seen as a victimless crime. Weaknesses of governance and poor law enforcement are significant issues in curbing illegal logging. Indeed, illegal logging undermines the rule of law and democratic government and respect for the environment and human rights, but there is always room for hope. Also, spreading the word about the impacts of illegal logging through social media, students or political groups, and community programs can help people understand the issues, which can eventually help address the matter. We should feel strongly about the injustice of excessive tree felling by taking urgent action simply by changing our lifestyle to be more sustainable. There are many ways to do this. Start by avoiding unnecessary paper printing and recycling when you can. Continue by participating in programs like the monthly Trees for Life program by MBSA, or consider volunteering with Rally International to conserve our green treasures or talk to our peers about the consequences of illegal logging. The issue is significant, but we can do more than we think.